Welcome back already to Starladder Season 11 with LD and GoDz. We've got game number 2 of today. We've seen one Clownfest. This game, maybe a bit more serious.
Yeah, CDEC, they've been looking pretty solid lately. Maybe's been on fire, and
Yeah.
we'll get our first look at Immortal Magneto Gaming. I always love seeing these underdog teams that nobody knows anything about, because if they ever win a game, a lot of people lose a lot of Arcanas, and I get a great story to cheer about.
We get to just laugh at all the people raging on Reddit and
You
Twitter.
fools.
And
Why
all
would you
that.
bet on Vici Gaming when they have like 80-20 odds or whatever? It's just
yeah.
what do you stand to gain?
If it was like later on in the group stage where they like needed to win some games to get to the playoffs, maybe, but first game, no. They just won, like, they won their last series they played with that tough best of 5 in the Summit Grand Final. So since then they've probably been like, phew, we qualified for the Land Finals. Let's relax and
They
try
know
something new.
They know Starladder. They have 7 games. They can drop one here or there.
Yep.
They can still qualify.
Well,
So
you can see the rosters there. No familiar names really on the IMG side or Immortal Magneto Gaming. What a good team name. But yeah, we'll find out about them.
well, let's see what they're up to. You know,
Yeah.
draft's underway, and well, we get our first peek at an unknown squad here, at least for us from China. It's going to be Immortal Gaming or Immortal Magneto Gaming. I'm just going to call them Magneto. I guess that's their abbreviated name that most are calling them by, and they'll be second pick this game. So CDEC get the first pick. They go straight into your Ogre, and Magneto will go for that Ancient Apparition Centaur. Could have gone for the more common Skyrath Centaur, which Skyrath would have been very nice here with the Brew follow-up, but
Yeah.
they go for the AA.
The AA Center is the like classic newbie opening, I would say. They've done this AA Center like duo like when they're second pick so many times. It's like your bread and butter Chinese Dota drafting. Either the AA Center or the Skyrath Center, which you mentioned, but some teams like newbie prefer the AA, some like teams like LGD or Vici normally go the Skyrath, but
Yeah. It can go either way. It does lean. They're a bit light on control here for the Brew, so we'll have to see if they get some more AoE to counter them, if they go for maybe that Doom pick that's been a bit on the rise in China, I would say, lately. We've seen quite a few Doom picks as of late, and it's if you can find a way to lane it and get through that laning stage intact. We saw Yao use it a lot for LGD and just take over the game with Aghanim Scepter Refresher in the Summit 2 lower bracket finals, so yeah, anything can happen, but it's a Naga ban out for Magneto, so they do not want to deal with Maybe, but they have left his Ember Spirit in the pool, and that is perhaps his most fearsome hero of all.
yeah, I think this one he kind of at least started getting a lot of attention himself was through the Ember Spirit. So
Yeah. Pick your poison, though, I guess. You
his
can't ban them all.
Naga's pretty potent as well. Like it's pulled off some big clutch wins. So maybe Immortal Magneto Gaming just more confident against the Ember Spirit. They've got some decent initiation with the Centaur, though you can always try and be fast fingers dodge those hoof stomps when he blinks in. So we'll see exactly what they have in mind. Maybe they want the Ember Spirit themselves. You never know. It's a decent matchup. It's an okay matchup against the Brew. You do pretty well.
All right. Like the support duo, your Rubik Ancient Apparition can great against the Brew, of course. And, well, 2 600 range heroes with Chilling Touch. That's a lot of firepower. And the only issue is that they need a lot of levels on these two. And we'll have to see if they're able to distribute it well. Or if CDEC could just get aggressive here with that Ogre pick. There's some offensive movements early on. Probably don't want to go straight offensive tri-lane against those two heroes, but more just can surprise them in the jungle and blow them up with Ignite plus a couple of other nukes.
So yeah, the Rubik AA. This was like your old school. What was it? The old team with Pycat Mouse Sports, was it?
They would go for like either Bane Marana or like AA plus 1 ranged hero.
Yeah, and they'd like love to do these like offensive tri-lanes with it, but something very possible with Rubik AA. A lot of killing potential. You can put the Centaur in the tri-lane, or you can safe lane the Centaur if you want to. Normally, if you want to go for like a safe lane solo, something like a Tide does a bit better 1v1 matchup, but I think a lot of possibilities with this opening as far as who you can put in a tri-lane and whether or not you want to go offensive or defensive.
Yeah, at the same time, it's just hard to say, and well, for CDEC, they've got a lot of flexibility. With that Ogre first pick, it could be a core. Generally, it's a support in China, but Jakiro's snapped up next, so another hero who can fit either role, that core or support role. Both more often than not played as supports in the Chinese Dota scene, but You never know, man, and that makes it a little bit more difficult here for Magneto. How are they going to lane this? What are they expecting out of cdec? It's
Yeah, cdec have really
very
revealed
difficult.
nothing. The Brew doesn't really say too much about your strategy. You can play him in push strats, you can play him on late game strats with the new kind of Lads AC type builds, which scale
get
pretty
that
well.
Abyssal Blade and Refresher later on. It's pretty dirty.
So, like, the Brew doesn't reveal anything. Ogre Jakiro doesn't really reveal much. Jakiro gives you some pushing power, but he's also a good defensive support against a Rubik AA, potential offensive tri lane, and he's very flexible as far as how Jakiro can be ran. So, I mean, I'd say both teams are kind of left guessing, because Centaur can also safe lane farm, he can off lane. Weaver going to reveal a bit more about what they're about, which suggests Weaver with the AA for the synergy between the Geminite and the Chilling Touch, and possible offensive trial with those three. At the same time, you can just safe lane the Weaver, get his farm there. You don't even have to put the Weaver with the AA. You can offensive trial in the center and just have Weaver safe lane solo if you really want. So,
yeah, it just
still
depends on what they
flexible.
expect out of cdec here, which is still difficult to say what they're going to do. 4th pick on the board, and that Ember for maybe is out there. At the same time, they're going to see this Weaver pick and think, we don't really have great ways to deal with the Weaver, so they'll go for a Puck instead. They go for probably the most reliable lockdown for Weaver that remains. Even if he gets that Lincoln's, you still have your Blink Silence into Coil, into that Ogre Magi stun, and just look to blow him up. So
IMG 34%. Damn, they got more higher win rate than Speed Gaming. Evidently, a lot of bettors have some faith in them.
I have not watched their games. Maybe they did really well in the pre-qualifiers.
I don't think Dota 2 loungers watch their games, to be honest, LD.
I think Dota 2 Lounge just hates cdec. They get consistently no credit from the...
You know, if they were still called lgd.cdec, I bet they would have a higher percent.
Yeah, it'd probably be like 10%
Like, oh,
higher.
they're LGD, I've heard of them.
They must be good.
Yep.
They still... It's weird, because they changed their name to cdec Gaming, but they still have LGD in the tag. Like, what's up with that? I don't know.
Oh, in their little logo. Yeah.
I think they just need someone... Someone needs to design these guys a logo.
Oh.
I've seen like 10 logos for Secret.
Well, I think that's what...
cdec deserve at least one.
Is this their official logo here on Dota 2 Lounge?
No, that's the logo for the actual cdec like in-house league,
Oh, okay.
not for the team.
So they need a team logo.
All right, Secrets. I got 10 logos, guys. You can make one for cdec. They deserve it.
Get on that Reddit users. We know how much you love making logos and stuff.
cdec will actually be the ones to ban with the Ember. So, still a little bit light on tools to deal with the Weaver, and at least reliably, and I guess worried that if there's a Weaver Ember, they will have to blow like a Brew Split just to kill one and then not have much to deal with the other. Ember is very good with Chilling Touch. It procs on each of the Sleight of Fist attacks, so it's a pretty cool combo, though the Weaver already fits the bill there. And with that ban, it seems that cdec were most likely expecting all these heroes to head to the side lanes, which is generally where you'd see them go. So
Yeah.
nothing too surprising there.
I think... yeah, I guess for cdec, Puck or Brewmaster probably going off lane. If you're on Brew safe lane and Puck mid, like neither of them scale like as a good late game carry, and then you'd have to put an off lane late game carry, which isn't ideal. So
yeah, you could get the Midas on the Puck that we've seen Dendy favoring lately, but
yeah,
it's
you're still not a carry.
Still, yeah,
you get more items late game, but you're not gonna.
You have to get fed to be a carry at that point.
So I think cdec could like even something like a Spectre if they really wanted to and felt that safe to do it. They've run Spectre a bit here and there. There's so much burst damage, I guess, is the worry. If you don't get to that that Radiance level, you're gonna have a bit of a rough time.
Yeah, there's also maybe Terror Blade if they feel they can lane it.
I think there's so much. I think this is like Terrorblade is even squishier than the Spectre, so I think they probably feel he just gets burst down too much.
Centaur's really good against that hero.
Yeah.
Is the main thing. Just
Razor would have been nice for cdec. That gets taken.
Tanky carries. There's like let's see what's left. No Death Prophet, no Viper. Your two beefcakes are done.
A safe lane Invoker even, but Necrophos is possible.
The issue for cdec is that laning might not be the easiest for them. If they go for one of those greedier late game carries, you're up against a Razor, Weaver, and an H Apparition support. So
maybe a Slack. The AA Ice Blast is a bit pesky, but it's going to be TA. So they're going to do the TA mid Brewmaster safe lane. It looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
I
TA versus Razor, not the easiest matchup for TA, but still doable.
It's not a bad TA game. There's only the Ice Blast to really tick down the Refraction. So
yeah, Refraction's going to be.
Who are you laning against here? Razor, not the best for the TA, that's for sure.
It's it's still like manageable. Like you get enough plus damage from the refraction that you can at least get some CS, get your bottle up, and just spam that refraction out.
And he's not going to kill you. He might dominate you in lane, but you'll still get your levels, and you always have that pocket Roshan with liquid fire meld to catch on up. So yeah, I think it's still decent here, and that's if the Garter Ogre Magi and your Jakiro being played by Q don't get aggressive. Good dual roaming combo, and definitely the Razor, the more vulnerable hero early on if the ganks come through. And you got to imagine these IMG supports will be off just stacking, trying to pull and get their early levels. So I wouldn't mind seeing cdec just get aggressive around that 0 to 3 minute mark. Try to put some pressure here on your Razor.
So yeah, first look at IMG. Pretty solid draft all around. I can't really fault anything about it. It's fairly cookie cutter, pretty just with the current meta. The opening, and then the Rubik pick is probably the one kind of spicy thing about this draft. Sure, it's not like a crazy pick by any means, but it's something we don't get to see all too much. And I feel like Rubik's one of those heroes who just somehow ends up always like playing that kind of feeder 5 position role. Very rarely. I feel like it's like 1 in 10 Rubik games where your Rubik really goes off the charts and steals a ton of big spells and has a huge like high impact on a game. Whereas you're more reliable, like Skyreth can always have his silences and shut down the hero, but Rubik, it's a lot harder to have that high impact.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's just the pace of the game, for the most part, seems so slated towards those heroes that can either just clear stacks really efficiently, or heroes that just have a lot of damage output. Like that, those generally seem to be the supports that excel right now. Jakiro crushes towers, does good damage to heroes. Ogre with the huge burst, your Skywrath. And heroes that are more difficult to kill. Rubik, 0 base armor, very mediocre HP pool, and just like you said, a hero that can be food. Not to mention he needs levels. He just doesn't have any damage output. Early zoning potential is pretty bad, so you pick this hero to make plays in the mid game. Well, unfortunately, games are often just out of control by that point.
We'll introduce our new team to Starladder Season 11. On the Radiant side, we have IMG Gaming, or what was it? What does IMG stand for again?
It's Immortal
Magneto
Gaming, I believe.
Yep. I knew the M, I didn't know the I. So Immortal Magneto Gaming, we got James playing the Ancient Apparition, 11 on the Centaur in the offlane. We have the Chinese characters, which I think is Tempest Moon according to their roster, on the Rubik.
That's a badass name. It's
going to be Yasim Mivi, or Elvivi, I don't know what we're going with there. But and we're going to have Mars C playing the Weaver in the safe lane.
All right, as for cdec, your beasts from the east, you've got 3/3/3 on your puck that puts XH onto your brew. That's Q playing that support Jakiro, and Garter roaming around as your Ogre Magi support with the boots first. That leaves Maybe as your Templar Assassin going mid. Boots first build, your just standard play versus a Razor 1v1, just to try and limit how much work that static link does early. So
Boots first Razor as well, so he'll match it.
Yeah.
You could always like try and risk going for like a Wraith Band first on your Razor, and then just trying to outlast hit. But against a TA, that's not going to work because you've got refraction. So
yeah, you just got to stick on him with static link and just make him sad.
The Razor's block is the big thing. It's a bit harder to block with the boots, so sometimes you see the Razor player drop his boots further up near the tower, but he didn't do that. How's his block going? Range creep in front, which is going to kind of ruin the block there for Maybe, but he's still got a solid all-around block. This will push his way because his range... Normally you don't want your Rage Creep dying first in the mid lane, but against a Razor, I think it's actually okay.
Yeah, it's going to push into the tower, which can be a problem for a lot of heroes, and that's generally why you don't see it, is last hit under your tower is not that easy, but
yeah,
he'll have refraction, and it also means, like you said, that the Razor just can't chase as far to steal that damage, so I think it's okay for Maybe.
Yeah, and even though he gets Static Link there, that Static Link is going to mostly wear off by the time like Maybe's ready to start lasting some of these creeps, so...
Early rotation, though. Magneto Gaming already trotting off this top lane.
What's the plan? Yeah, they started offensive trialing, but realized, okay, we're not getting trialing versus trialing, so screw this, we need to protect our Weaver, and Weaver is not having fun.
Yeah, level 1 stun picked up by Garter. Generally, you'll see that ignite for the extra harass. It's just a lot more annoying in lane, but against the Weaver, can disjoin it with that Sakuchi, so I think just making sure he gets off some guaranteed damage here.
How nauseating is that Static Link sound?
Well, we could turn down the speakers. Jeez. Now that you called it nauseating, I'm feeling sick.
I mean, if it's quiet, even if it's quieter, it's still nauseating. It's like
it feels like your life force is just being drained away listening to that. Yeah.
I hope there's some Razor cosmetics which change that sound. That would.
So what, the sound of like prancing unicorns?
Yeah.
What do they sound like anyway?
What do prancing unicorns sound like?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll Google
Kisses
that.
and sunshine. That's what it sounds like.
Rainbows and happiness.
All right. So
Something we know very little of here.
a failed static link, so maybe he'll be a bit happier in this mid lane. And his support Ogre Magi may be considering making a move.
And there's nothing happy about this lane, dude. He's 0-1. We're not 2 minutes in.
Oh yeah, he's okay.
This is not an easy lane for TA.
That's weird. Like he's had you should still get some CS with your refraction.
I say that, and then he immediately almost aces a wave, but
that was the static link failed and it was on cooldown, so he gets up to 4.
it gets easier as refraction levels up too, just because you get enough bonus damage that he can't drain it all before you get those few last.
And Raze is missing a few last hits here or there as well, maybe over-focusing on the zoning and the static linking. So, no big.
Not the most exciting lane, just a double farming lane.
cdec are playing keep away. Like the tri lane shifts from top to bottom for IMG, and then Ogre's like, well, I'm out of here. I'm not versing a tri lane. Like I may be an Ogre with my 6 base armor, but I'll still die to this Rubik AA.
Yeah, doesn't help you against Chilling Touch. All magic damage.
Maybe he's gonna fight this one.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Not anymore. He still got his base damage, even with the refraction on, that is.
I mean, he's hitting like a wet noodle right now, but refraction will come off cooldown soon. And the big thing for him is just getting bottle. Once you get bottle, this lane gets a lot easier. You can just spam your refraction on cooldown, just grab a rune every so often. Razor not gonna be able to control both runes very easily. They don't have the best lineup to gank a TA. Like I would say a Rubik Ancient Apparition gank is pretty underwhelming, to be honest. Yeah. Especially when it's only a level, now level 2 Ancient Apparition. Still no real reliable damage over time from these two.
You need smoke and sentries, and to go in when he doesn't have the double refract. Like if he has refract on and like a second refract up soon, you just flat out don't get it. So you could maybe like smoke all the way around and come from above, but if it fails, you waste so much time, and it's just not worth the risk, I'd say. 4-minute rune.
You could maybe. Invis rune picked up top, and that'll be a nice one for Yasim. As for your Rubik, what was his name again? Oh, Tempest something?
Tempest Moon.
Oh, Tempest Moon.
I believe.
Like Temptress, or?
Let me check.
Tempest?
It just says, on the Russian Starladder, it says Temptess. I don't think that's a word, but that's what it's spelled. Spelled as.
Gotcha.
Maybe it's meant to be Temptress. Is my guess.
It could either be saucy, or it could just be very epic and elemental, you know? Not really sure. Funny what a big difference just a few letters make. Is 11? They want to go on him here top lane, but unfortunately every time your Jakiro moves in, this Observer Ward just spots out the rotations, and it's all for naught. He's getting great experience out of this off lane. Already level 5. Is in the meantime your Brew bottom lane not doing so hot here. Just level 3 now that he's been left alone.
Alright, pop quiz LD. Who's going to give first blood? Safe bet's on one of the offlaners, but I'm not even sure on that. We could see a smoke mid. There's a lot of possibilities here.
I'm going to say it's someone from this tri-lane for cdec. I think they're going to overextend and feed on 11.
Like a TPN from Rubik or something. And
I mean, he's already level 5 and change. This is very...
Both IMG supports of TPs. That's actually could turn things around.
Yeah, that's
that
another
prediction.
Argument in favor of it, I would say.
I like your prediction. And how soon?
Within the next 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
Probably when the puck gets level 6. We'll try and force something here.
Yeah, Centaur's gonna hit 6 first. There's actually a Stampede first, soon. So I think IMG may get a kill using Stampede. Like Centaur doesn't even have to show up, but I guess Brew's playing ultra defensive.
The other thing is that these wards for both teams are about to expire. So both have really nice jungle wards, but they're wearing off very soon as you're in his Razor.
He just wants the room, but if maybe stands on top of it, you can't really get it if you're Razor.
Yoink.
Yeah. It's so hard to click them.
Yeah, and you don't want to accidentally A-click or right-click and remove your invis there. Then you're donezo.
And Ogre Magi says hello. So 3 Dire Heroes actually going to show up mid, but one's a Brewmaster, so he can't add too much trap to start things off, but that was just a little mini slow. Yeah, there.
Well, very slow start to this game. The last game we saw was just a feeding train, but both teams playing calm, collected, and defensive Dota, so...
I feel like if that's your game pace with a Rubik AA support you, you're in trouble, though. generally speaking. And I think that's the case here. Weaver's going for an aggressive early game build with an urn, so I think IMG need to start doing something soon. Like, they can't wait for the Centaur Blink Dagger. They gotta use this Stampede ASAP to start getting some kills.
It's just not very easy to do that, though. Stampede into what? Static Link? Rubik Lift?
Yeah.
They have no Ice Blast. I don't know. It might not be ideal, but I think they do have to wait for the Blink. How are you going to start fights? Weaver, Sakuchi in? They got nothing, dude.
Yeah, the Centaur, I guess, isn't being zoned out or having his farm shut down too badly. But
and they have stacked the jungle for him, so he can come in and clean this up, and I think your Rubik's actually pinning it out for him. Nobody else who's... Well, I guess Razor could clear the stacks.
Puck, Ogre, Smoke Gank. We could be quite wrong on who's giving that first blood, because this Razor has no HP, or his half HP is completely mana depleted, and he's getting ganked down the mid lane. TPM will not save him. And Razor.
Stampede will not save him either. Rubik rotates in, but that was a wishy-washy effort there. And with Jakiro, Tower's going to take some chip damage here for sure.
Yeah, this is just a level 2 Liquid Fire, so not the scariest thing just yet, but these dire supports just scale a lot better with levels. Like, I look at Ogre Jakiro and just compare that to a Rubik AA and just... Like, even if I hadn't
so
seen...
tanky.
You could not name a single other core hero, but in this current, like, all the games we've seen lately, like, I would say majority, like, 9 games out of 10, Rubik AA is going to lose to an Ogre Jakiro currently, but regardless of what the other heroes are. But
bottom lane, there's a dive onto 333. The Swarm's connected, and they're going to Sakuchi on after him. He's going to retreat out, and still Weaver going hard in the paint here. He's got the Chilling Touch on. Love that double Chilling Touch auto tank, but it's not enough, and he will be forced back. Meanwhile, Rubik painting out the neutrals again. I think he's telling his Centaur, you got to get it, Blink Bubba. We need you to do something.
It's always so risky going for this first item earn on carries, because I feel if you don't get charges like in the first 3 to 5 minutes that you have this, it's a big wasted investment. Like, you could have gone for a Midas, could have just gone straight into his, like, Treads Lincoln.
Especially something like Weaver that needs to be ahead generally. Like, I think on Spectre, that type of hero, it's great because he's fairly squishy. He doesn't need a ton of items to have a good, decent mid-game impact, and you know, you're guaranteed to get earn charges. Weaver's not really guaranteed to get them at all.
Yeah, you benefit a bit more from the HP on a Spectre in general. So yeah, like you say, but guaranteed to get earn charges because of the horn. And Weaver, yeah, he's had this earn for some time and done very little. It's still like IMG just haven't really even come close to getting a kill. Like, they've shown no signs of life.
It's all about that Centaur Blink. You mentioned it might be a little late, maybe not enough, but it's all they got, GoDz. That's what they're going to have to rely on.
It's a really good timing for an offlane Centaur Blink. It just feels like you don't pick Rubik AA to start ganking and getting kills at 10 minutes in. And
you don't run Razor to get out CS by TA mid. That's for damn sure. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Maybe he was down 7 CS to 0 at one point this game, but that was early. And, well, thanks to his support's rotations and the level 4 refraction, he's now caught right back up. Yeah. In fact, he's even going in.
With a DD rune, this is, about to say, still not possible. This is Razor still.
Yeah, just trying to bait out some TPs and post up a bit.
Yeah.
I like his play,
not
though.
A bad idea. So Blinks come out from both teams. Puck gets Blink at the same time as the Centaur. The Centaur went a bit scary.
Triple Blink. Uh-oh. Brew as well.
Well, Brew has a TP, so he can show up anywhere on this map. He does have some mana problems as far as...
It's just kind of a crappy Centaur draft, unless the H Apparition is level 6, and...
Yeah, I guess you can maybe give him a solo lane at some point.
Maybe with the Plasma Field and the Rubik Zap, they have enough to get a kill here, but maybe he's not the hero you want to go for. He's got a haste rune.
He's got some crazy map awareness. He like realizes this Centaur Blink and Smoke Gank's coming up, and is just like he says, "Screw it, I'm out. I'm gonna go farm my neutral stack."
Yeah, and then he gets some eyeballs on James. So James. Any questions were now answered.
All right. So doesn't see the Centaur Rubik, and that first Centaur Blink gank is...
Oh, he's gonna show it too. He's right over that Dire Observer. Oh no, he made it into the trees.
Yeah, good out of range.
Speaking of Spidey senses.
But
still, I feel he's almost bound to show this before the first gank.
And cdec's Brew Blink allows them to just siege towers now, I think. They'll use the Puck Blink maybe more for ganking, but the Brew, he has some mana problems. Actually picks up her over the Magi. So he's going to maybe just go for a value drums or some treads off of this, but they're going to guarantee this tier 1 top tower.
cdec pushing in your top lane. Your Rubik Ancient Apparition duo still desperately trying to find their level 6, and
I think they defend bottom as well. Like, they have more than enough to do so.
Yeah, you can't push into Puck Blink and Brew Blink. That is a disaster. Maybe you can bait them out, but...
TA with a haste rune's scary as well, so... look out for him, but they're going to chip on this tier 1. So
that's fresh, too. He just popped the haste.
Yeah, someone's got to TP onto this tier 1 if they want to defend it. No glyph available. Okay, there we go. They glyph now, sorry. That was just used, and... yeah, I think IMG have to know something.
Oh, there's your trap. Laid out for Garter. Just kidding.
Yep,
Coil's there, though. Finds 2, 11. As well as Marcy going to break it. The orb just off the mark. And they're going to go on in. Lift to start on Garter, and then the follow-up is right clicks from a Razor. And then he gets stunned. He might actually get this kill. Does manage to claim it, but looks like he'll pay with his life and giving up your Razor for a support Ogre. Not the best, but there's your double edge. 11 finds a massive opening, brings down another. That looked so bad for them, but 11 with the big plays on your Centaur.
It's alright, solo pushing Jakiro. Only level 3 Liquid Fire, but he's going to almost get a tier 2 Tarot for this, so... it's not... maybe... CDEC lose a hero, maybe they... like, I think they could have just traded 1 for 1 there and not lost as many heroes as they did. Like, Centaur came in with a really nice stun there, but... so much damage being down at the top lane, so...
and who'd they kill? Ogre as a support, not a big deal, and a Puck who already has his blink.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree. Not the biggest deal.
Ogre and a Puck for an AA, so yeah. It's an offlane Puck who has his blink.
Also worth mentioning, the Brew used to split mid earlier while that was happening, and did manage to kill off James. Alright, I'll stop doing that.
Oh no, that was at the bottom lane.
Oh, was it bottom?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That was in the middle of that fight. He actually kind of got juked a bit by the Stampede works really well against the Brewmaster split, but...
yeah, so delayed is level 6. Rubik finally gets his, but yeah, very, very late. And just having level 6 of Rubik this game, I mean, you're up against a Puck with Blink, a Brew with Blink, and a TA who's just going to run at you with traps down. So it's going to be tough to get those good spell steals.
I think this is actually a good game for maybe to get a Blink as well in the TA. Like, normally, I'd say Blink on TA is very situational, but it's situational for when you're up against these squishy heroes like Rubik and AA, so... could be a good game for him to do so. He's got a big bank of gold here, so he's going to spend it on something. I don't know. We'll find out what. There we go. He goes Blink as well. And this is one of those few games where Blink looks like a really nice item.
And very odd build from Marcy. He's going straight BKB with the Ogre Club.
Alright.
But they just don't care about you then. Brewmaster has evasion. Jakiro and Ogre are tanky. You're just going to tickle them. The Puck can also force out that Blink that BKB very easily.
This is kind of like an old... well, they're not even that old school, but like a year or two ago, like Pucks, normally you go the Lincolns, but you'd always go Pucks would always go BKB, you'd always go BKB and Weaver against Pucks because all of his spells ignore Lincolns, and the BKB allows you to get out of coil, get out of silence, so it's a lot better than the Lincolns against the Puck, but like you say, you need damage at some point.
They're going to look for a jump in here. Garter painting out right where James is. Looks like they're going to go with the trap to start. Onto the Rubik. He did manage to steal Refraction, fortunately for him, so he's kept alive for now. 3-3-3, tossed into the air, trying to retreat out with the jaunt, and looks like he'll be able to do so. Now your TA cleaving through fools, brings down the Rubik. The Ancient Apparition dies, buys back. He'll throw out an ulti. Not to much avail as YSim just gets jumped by your TA. Almost finished off. Blink, clap, is ready. Didn't have the range for it. He did steal the split, and he'll get it off too. Yeah. This could be the big turn from your Rubik.
Yeah, they'll leave the Brewmaster to die. Say, look, man, you gave away split. I'm not helping you out. And
meanwhile, Puck getting caught out here a bit. That's a double buyback on the supports to make that play happen.
Yeah, and if they can get Garter as well, that'd be a nice little pick off. But on top of that, the cold feet will latch in.
Oh, he could have popped his stick.
Gets it off after. This Ogre, he's so tanky. Turns around, gets the Centaur.
If that's any support besides Ogre, he just dies there.
12 armor on the Ogre with
not done yet. Boots. Still chasing that Ogre, and your Weaver will manage to bring him down.
Maybe couldn't bring down the Rubik because of a meld, and actually blinks forward. He wants this. He wants this Rubik.
Outplayed.
Baited.
Or maybe.
Oh god, the Urn's going to tick away at the refraction, and
yeah, that's actually a very good reason to go for the early Urn. Although I'd say probably not your Weaver the one who needs to do it, but you definitely want to get an Urn against TA. That's just mandatory now that it does damage rather than just HP removal.
Bit of a bizarre fight.
Yeah, a little clowny. In the end, though, Rubik and AA both died, bought back. Didn't die again, fortunately. They stole the Brew split, but the Rubik no longer holds on to it. Ancient Apparition, it's level 7.
Yeah, they killed like Ogre as well as the Brewmaster.
Weaver had a good fight, though.
TA, though, is getting pretty scary. 2k gold. I think maybe could just rush a Desolator. He's going to start 1 or 2 shotting heroes.
They're going to TP and Marcy.
Maybe is just a bit too tricky to kill here. They need some. They haven't had detection in the last few fights, which is also problematic. But it's Q getting ditched.
They're not done yet. Blink in from your Centaur. Stomp, double edge. Great pick off there, and they're going to look for a takedown on your Brew as well. No split. As cdec get cocky, underestimating IMG, and they pay the price. The 5-man tower defense. Boy, oh boy.
Rubik with these big meld hits and these ganks, and he's now steals a clap as well, so... Hey, we're seeing some decent Rubik play coming out.
Yeah, and that's without a blink. That's without any mobility items, but... cdec just playing very cocky there. They posted up really far, did not have their Brew split ready, and just got punished for it.
We'll see cdec look to just bounce back. They're still farming reasonably well. They were ahead by about 3,000 team net worth, but now it's just dropped down to about 1,000 experience in the favor of IMG, so this new squad that not many of us have heard of, coming off to a pretty good start here in Season 11 for the Starladder China.
Man, they're super safe. Double Ogre Club pickups. Looks like probable double BKB build for this team to start things off. It so definitely is. It is a good BKB game, and on paper, like you definitely want that item this game. But
you get it first item, it means if this guy's late game, they're 5 second. They just become 5-second BKBs so fast.
Yeah, they really do. With Razor, you'll likely always have at some point you'll have your 10-second BKB with the refresher, but that is looking quite a bit later on. And I would like to see cdec sneak this Roshan GoDz. Maybe they can't do it now, but the next time they find some pickoffs, into the pit they should go. They've got Liquid Fire, they have Meld. Very good Rosh lineup. And
yeah, fantastic.
They want it so they can just post up here and play aggressively on IMG.
If they can just pressure these side lanes like they were doing earlier with the Jakiro a bit, they can, I think, definitely get into the Roshan pit and put themselves in a position where IMG just can't contest it. And you really want to go before they have their BKBs as well, because fights get a whole lot trickier, and also just going into the Roshan pit gets so much more difficult when those BKBs are online. Puck will get a bottom tier 1 tower though, so cdec just applying enough pressure in multiple locations that IMG just don't really have what it takes to deal with all of the incoming pressure.
Big smoke gank. They are moving in from long range towards this top tower, but tucked away in the trees is your Brew, who is also building, guess what? A likely BKB with the Ogre Club pickup.
Safety first this game.
Yeah, this is an old LGD gaming style of play.
He's going to walk into them here. They're smoked up, and it's maybe, though. He's probably not the ideal target. He's got a Yasha now to go with all his items. He could just go blinking in and get aggressive, maybe, if he's got the necessary backup, or slow James.
This could be a dieback. No, just kidding.
Stampede retreat. That's...
Nice smoke gank, guys.
Yeah.
Stampede, TP out, and run away. I mean, it was definitely the right play. It's just unfortunate when it comes down to that.
Very telling about like where we are as far as the state of this game. That IMG, they go for these little smoke ganks, but as soon as they feel like they've been there for too long, waiting around, and cdec maybe have too many heroes, it's like, no, we're not fighting.
Yeah, do want to mention, I did mention Roche, but it is worth pointing out, Radiant got some good wards down here, around the pit region, so
yes,
you can still sneak in there with the smoke, of course, or if you just potentially just run down the ramp like this way, but there's a lot more potential to get spotted out.
Yeah, I think what we see a lot of these Dire teams do is just don't even bother sneaking, just pressure the side lane, so you see 2 or 3 heroes top.
Then you just walk in.
You can kill it fast enough and securely enough that you can maybe take it regardless. The main problem right now is this tier 1 mid tower, which is still up, so I think once they have the tier 1 mid tower up, they can play that split push and into Roshan kind of style of play. And maybe like almost gets the tier 2 top. Now he's mid, working on this tier 1, and deny not happening. Jakiro gets the last hit.
And beeline to the Roche pit, it looks like. And we go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, maybe not.
They haven't really pushed out these side lanes here, so IMG can definitely contest with an Ice Blast.
Okay, smoke, then look. Oh, no, just into the pit. All right. Okay. They have Drunken Haze, they have Liquid Fire. This is a very strong Roche lineup, and...
Yep. They also show heroes on the map, so they show the Puck at bottom. Ogre ran into the Weaver, so... It's still pretty obvious in some ways, but... Ice
Blast is coming, though, GoDz. They're going to look to contest this one. They have the max plasma field. They're going to bring in their Rubik here as well. He's got his level 4 meld. Can they get the jump on in? They're going to jump on a Q. They'll finish him off quickly. Still Centaur. Everybody run around in circles. Stampede, not really needed there, but they'll use it anyway.
Where the sentries
and maybe just bunkering down in the pit.
Yeah, I don't think they realize
can
he's
he
still
steal
in here.
this Roche? This would be huge. He's got the stick charges. The pings come out. He's got eyes on everything they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're going to buy back on the Jakiro as well. No Stampede. Probably try and... You don't really want to give this up, but... They might go back in, and your Brewmaster TA trying to pull a fast one here. Don't think it's going to happen, as Magneto seems prepared to get off their Brew. Split, though, Aegis snagged by your Razor, and the Radiant get the Roche kill to boot. They'll lose their 2 supports for this. They may lose a lot more. Roshan already down, and Razor trying to retreat out. Casual. Yeah, let's get that bounty rune, get a little extra gold on our way out. Why the hell not? As Marcy dukes it out with the Ogre, and 11's got backup, or is the backup, I should say. 2 hero stun comes out. Razor still surviving. You get that gold, man. Get that gold. Oh, yeah, he's going to start stealing some damage here, but looks like he might be going down. Nope.
Nice.
He's going to turn on Q. Nice-ah. Now into the tree line.
Meanwhile, in the secret shop, 11 on the Centaur. Gets one last time off, and maybe...
Buckler.
Nope. Yeah, not happening.
Not the cleanest Roche snipe, but they get the Aegis, they get the Roche last hit, so still definitely a good fight for them.
Yeah, and this is still, like, pre-B... Okay, they had the Weaver BKB in the end there, but pre-Razor BKB. Like, Weaver's going to be working on his Desolator, or at least some kind of a damage. Maybe goes MKB this game against the Brew, but... All in all, like, maybe he had to buy back there. He got blown up for that second attempt on Roshan, not working out well at all.
That was just a terrible decision by CDEC.
Yeah.
They had just seen 5 heroes right next to the pit. They bought back under Kiro. And it's not like IMG smoked or anything. They walked up the hill, and then they just came right back in. You got to do something, like you said, to push out the side lanes, or at least go for a gank. You can't just walk back in and expect, oh, okay, you can have Roche because you bought back on Jakiro. Nuh-uh.
You have to be pushing at that top
IMG
lane.
not going to let it go that easy. And, well, perhaps we'll witness the emergence here of another contender for these Chinese tournaments, gods. That I got to say, it's been looking like a very deep scene in China lately. Maybe not as top-heavy. Maybe the Tier 1 teams, as some like to call them, not as convincing as what they once were, but... The flip side and the silver lining of that is we get great games all the time. Magneto throwing their hat in the ring now.
Yeah, well, bring down Tier 1 mid tower. Weaver getting some more money up his pockets. Has picked up a Mithril Hammer, so Desolator maybe not too far away. So CDEC are going to be a little concerned here. They're coming off. They're on a hot streak. They're looking like one of the strongest / most consistent teams in China right now. So definitely, I would say heavy favorites coming into this one. But
here we go. 11 with his blink online. And he's in position. He's going to find your Brewmaster. Ice Blast coming on through. Multicast. It's not enough. Oh, yep, there it is.
The lift. That was nice. They had the max lift. And they could...
Well timed there. Very patient. They'll turn with the Silence Coil. And the Necrobook coming out, but do they get kills? Oh, yeah. Maybe he's into these backlines. That's 2 supports down. They're going to lose 11 as well. And, well, now it's just Yasim, who's got your Aegis, who's able to retreat out at the same time. The BKB Weaver. You mentioned these charges growing thin, and they are quickly trickling down. He's already down to the 8-second BKB.
He's only had it like 3 or 4 minutes as well, so...
And this BKB has not made a difference at all this game. Like, it did not make a difference in the Roche fight, even though he used it. And it didn't make a difference in that fight, other than, I guess, letting him run away, but he's not threatening CDEC, and that's a concern.
Yeah. And CDEC now going to apply pressure on the Tier 2, and you have to engage onto this, otherwise they'll just bring down the tower using that Liquid Fire. Q even turning for one last Liquid Fire in the Tier 2. And with that, it's going to be a full retreat from CDEC. They've made one too many overextensions already this game, I think they decide.
Yeah, so they're going to back off, continue to farm, and I still think IMG have a... In fact, if this goes late, with the Brewmaster going for BKB, not really going for your carry Brew, the Puck going for a Necrobook, I actually like IMG's chances a lot later on. Sure, they went for the early BKBs, but Razor does match up extremely well against TA if you get tanky enough that you can live through that burst, which he's well on his way towards. He's got a little 1,200 gold in the bank, the drums treads BKB, and I think they've got the better late-game DPS with your Centaur jump in and your Razor follow-up.
And they're doing such a good job of just shutting down Maybe. They'll catch him again.
Boom!
Yeah.
Right in the kisser.
Not much you can do about that one.
Not really.
Dream Coil is even thrown out, so traps get stolen by the Rubik, which is not a bad spot to have. You can plop them in the Roshan pit, use them mostly for scouting more than the actual slows themselves, but a nice little spell.
Yeah, working towards his, I imagine, that blink or force staff now, and still a ways off, but considering how these supports struggled early, they've done a nice admirable job of staying in this game. And that's a Crimson Guard pickup, GoDz. Not really an obvious Crimson Guard game, but just a solid all-around tank item, I suppose.
Yeah, it helps the Centaur with his just general survivability. The armor helps against the TA, but as far as the actual active goes, it's like, I don't know, not a non-factor, but it's not a game changer.
Sam is saying, go on me, I've got Aegis.
Uh-oh, it just expired that very second. I saw the regen start kicking in, and then he immediately took damage, got cancelled, and well, that's...
That looks like such a well-timed bait, but
no.
What a mess.
So close, but cdec either just timing it perfectly or maybe getting a bit lucky there. I think they probably timed it, and we were still doing a lot of damage here in the backlines, but they're losing heroes elsewhere. Brewmaster picked up the Ancient Apparition. These are squishy supports, not to mention the Razor, who was just chilling on a couple hundred HP, taking out of the fight.
Well, in good news, Weaver almost has Deso, and that is a very important item pickup for this team. With the Deso, your Razor really starts to pack a punch, and I think we could see them still take some upcoming team fights. But yeah, that was extremely unfortunate and extremely costly.
Yeah, Necro 3 now online for the park. This will just also act as like a nice little gem substitute. You can use it to help get map control, D-ward everywhere, and
hunt that weaselly little Weaver.
Yeah. Well.
In good news, they did get the tower, and it went the way of the Razor. So, not all bad for Team Magneto here.
The plate mail, and I think they're all preparing for the physical damage. The Crimson Guard, the plate mail, I guess, deciding that late game, like you've got your BKBs, all that's going to kill you is this TA. So Razor gets a plate mail, can go Shiver's Guard or Assault Caress. Centaurs can negate a lot of that physical damage, and yeah, they seem pretty confident that they can maybe take this in the late game. Maybe he's got 4k gold, so he's going to have the money for maybe a Desolator, maybe a BKB if he wants to be on the safe side.
Are you intentionally saying maybe like every other word, or is
yeah, you know,
maybe
it happens.
Appropriate response. Maybe.
Maybe. BKB.
All right, BKB out. Something IMG really don't have a great solution for. Nothing Rubik can steal that would make a difference. They can just try to run away from it. Obviously, your Razor can still try to fight through that, but don't know if he's quite tanky enough yet, GoDz. Just that plate mail picked up.
And yeah,
big item
he's
for
still
Weaver,
be a bit careful. He's still got 10-second BKB, but yeah. Because TA goes BKB, not Deso, it means Razor can... I don't think Razor's in too much danger of dying during the BKB. TA's physical damage just won't be potent enough.
Yeah, TA doesn't want to go for Razor. TA wants to go for your Rubik, your Ancient Apparition, although he does have a double damager, and so I would actually say with that, he can go on him.
Yeah, looks like they want to march forward here. Blink in, Dream Coil, Park. Yeah, well, it gets immediately lifted up in the air. That does create some space elsewhere, but maybe with the BKB on, he's going to get turned around on the static link as well as the physical damage from the Razor. Maybe he's in so much trouble. One more right click, not going to be there. Melds just to dodge it, and your Sim kind of forced back there, but he's still nice and healthy here. It's the Weaver.
What a nice path. The turn might possibly come now. Your Razor still standing strong, but maybe he's healthy. And he might look to turn this one. He wants to run back in, has the refraction at the ready, but not sure if he can. That big, bad Razor doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Static link available, and I'll scratch that thought. Maybe he's going to get stunned here by the cold feet, but it's okay. Bruise on the case. Just go at him for the pokey poke, and off with your head, says maybe.
They're going to make it 5.
That's going to be a full 5 now wipe.
cdec just kited there more than anything. Like, the BKBs get popped, they kind of back off a little bit. Even with Razor stealing a lot of damage, as long as maybe survives, he can just bottle up a little bit and go back into the fight. So that's a big 3,000 gold change as well.
The other thing is that Weaver with a Deso really excels at just blowing squishies up, but even these supports are not that... Yeah, where the squishies at? He's in the wrong bar. Q is actually pretty poor. 31 minutes finally getting the Yules, but still got 1,100 health. The Yules now, 8 armor. And your Ogre, 1,400 health. Halfway to his Ags, and a little bit more actually. 600 gold in the bank, and 13 armor. So yeah, where are the squishies at?
It's tough for Weaver, but we'll see what he can do in these fights. They really need just some additional lockdown. Right now, it's just the Centaur. Like, the telekinesis from the Rubik can play a big part. Like, it helped burst down the puck at the start, but then they also need it later on in the fight. Like, when Brewmaster goes in, you want to kind of insta-telekinesis him, although with BKBs on both Maybe and Brewmaster, it gets a lot trickier to do those kind of plays. No Roshan just yet. I love these little traps. All these traps come in pairs now because both teams have some traps up. The pairs of the Roshan, the pairs on the cliff, on their little plateau.
The 2-for-1 special, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Roche won't surprise anyone, as it's a 1 minute off potential respawn both teams with those traps in the pit, so.
Yeah.
We'll have a little rumble over this. Let's see. Any big items going to be picked up before the Roche fight? Centaur picks up his Rain of Health. He's going to build a hood. Your Ancient Apparition nowhere near an egg.
Rubik might. He could have a Blink Dagger for this, but I'm not sure if it's not exactly a game changer, but it has the potential to be with just a possible Primal Split Steal. Probably the biggest spell you're looking for. The other one, I think, the other spell that's quite nice is something like an Ice Path.
Oh yeah, Ice Path is fantastic. Fantastic if you can get it. The one thing for IMG, though, GoDz, is I feel they're a little bit more reliant on getting those good initiations off. Like, if they don't get a Blink Stomp and the BKBs are thus wasted, then you probably just lose the fight from there. We saw that last time around.
Yeah. It's...
Whereas CDEC, it's much easier to execute their initiation. Coil is way easier to hit than that Stomp, and not to mention the Blink Silence. They've got the Yule's Ice Path set up, the Ogre just walking in and fire blasting someone, and obviously your Brew, quite easy to initiate with.
CDEC IMG have this potential to burst down the hero with the Ice Blast and all, but like that was like a longer drawn out fight. Mid lane though, we will see initiation onto the puck, Ice Blast, double edge.
See ya.
This is how they start off the fights, and that was kind of how they started off the bottom fight. But if the fight drags out, IMG struggle because both their supports do nothing in a dragged out fight. Whereas for CDEC, you have an Ogre throwing multicast on both Fire Blast as well as Ignite. You have Jakiro, who's got Ice Path and Liquid Fire, both really great spells for these long drawn-out fights, and that's where CDEC just have to make sure that they don't lose key heroes right at the start to an Ice Blast. Puck, I wouldn't even really call him a key hero. If he goes down and tanks all those big spells, the Centaur combo and an Ice Blast, you can still take the fight if it happens right after.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. They'll force out these TPs, top lane Q. He's got his Yules ready.
Chase on.
There is no Stampede, though. Orb forward into the lift. This could be a huge play from your Rubik. Just kidding.
Centaur decides he could have gone for a
no huge plays. They want to go towards Roche.
Yeah, I think they suddenly realize what's going on, and they're like, okay, let's stop messing around with this bloody Jakiro and contest this Roche, as Weaver going to Shikuchi his way through and just get some good scouting information. They leave Jakiro top, though, so he's going to try and force the TPs back, so CDEC don't have to commit to Roshan until they see heroes TPing to deal with this Jakiro, so we'll see.
They've got the Deso gods. They're just going to walk in and try to pull a fast one here on Team CDEC. There's a split ready.
They see the exact HP of Roshan, though, because of the trap.
Well, but can they even get in range here? This Roche continues to drop. The Orb harassing them back. The Swarm preventing those Blink Daggers from doing their work as the Brew will jump in. Gets off your clap. Immediate Stampede. Rubik able to retreat out into the Roche pit. They'll go. Onto Yasim. The Aegis snatched by Eraser, and boy, did he need that one, Bubba. Wow. As he was immediately going to go down if he didn't get it.
But AA just got one-shotted now as well. Weaver's just being completely negated in this fight. He's completely depleted of HP now, and a great macro pie going to bring in the Razor a second time if he's not careful. Brewmaster gets him one slap to the face.
Oh yeah, and looking for more.
Disaster for IMG.
In the mid lane, your TA going to jump in, maybe completes. Yet another kill on the Rubik, now 11, getting beaten down by CDEC as they will extend their advantage. And now pushing, it's like a 4 or 5k gold lead, 10k experience, and more importantly, GoDz, they get rid of that Aegis. They got the Roche kill there, and they're going to look to just push on through against IMG.
Yeah, I think the calls are kind of matching up at least relatively evenly. I think the TA is doing a bit more than the Raze in these fights, but again, it's just the Jakiro Ogre offering so much. You put Liquid Fire on these damage dealers and they do so much less damage. So we're seeing some really nice Ice Paths, Macro Pyres. Razor dies after the Aegis, doesn't have the BKB anymore, and yeah, it just gets burnt down by the Macro Pyres. So as far as like a Rubik's concerned, like he does nothing. He can't really, there's not enough like good spammable spells unless he has Ice Path at the start of a fight to really have much of an impact in these clashes.
Weaver gonna try to stop this Jakiro from getting away, but not much he can do. Yeah, it's just very tough in general for IMG at this point. They don't have the map control, they don't have the sustained damage output of a TA, and the main issue is that their Razor's just not fat. With the fat Razor, I think they could take almost anything, but if you look at his net worth, he's below all 3 of the enemy cores, and he's only slightly ahead of his own offlane Centaur, who's been not farming, but just walking around the map trying to set up ganks for his team.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. They got to get this Razor more farm somehow, some way. Weaver's just not the best carry for these big brawl type fights. As we mentioned, you just can't find pickoffs, so that's where you need a fat Razor to take these engagements.
Alright, Rubik's got Ice Path now. This'll help things out a little bit on the Radiant side.
Can't hurt, that's for sure.
They're still kind of just playing from behind, like you say. The Razor's so under farm, and okay, he spent some money. Shiver's Guard is going to be the item of choice here, which is, it's nice, but at this point his BKB's getting shorter. He can still get burst down. If he gets caught by a multicast Fire Blast before he pops his BKB, then an Ice Path follows it up. There's a lot of burst damage on the CDec side, so he's going to be very careful with how he plays and positions himself, even with the Shiver's Guard.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and just in general, it's a very defensive build from him. No Ags, no AC, just that Shiva's, so it doesn't really help you kill the TA or any of these heroes that quickly. It's more, I can just be annoying while maybe my teammates dish out the damage, but they don't really have enough items to offer that. So I think if you're IMG now, you definitely still can take this one late, but you gotta get your Aghanim Scepter on the Ancient Apparition. That looks to be the most important item they could grab next, and they need a lot more farm on the Razor. I think those are the two main things. Not much 11 could get on the Centaur. He's already got his core items. Could complete that pipe, perhaps, would be helpful. And Weaver can clean up if the enemy heroes are low and scattered. But if it comes to one of these direct brawls, which, I mean, GoDz, it's mostly what we've seen, then Weaver just doesn't do anything. As soon as BKB ends, he just runs away.
His damage just hasn't been that impressive. Maybe with the next damage item, probably MKB, he'll start actually bringing down heroes faster, but yeah, the Jakiro Ogre, we've talked about it a bit, they're just so goddamn tanky. 1800 HP on an Ogre Magi, 15 armor, yeah right, you're not killing this guy. Jakiro just with a Yule Scepter and Ghost Scepter, he's got so much defensive capabilities. Who are you actually killing if you're a Weaver in these fights? I'm not really sure. Everyone is so damn tanky.
You can only clean up. I mean, that's where they need the good initiations from the Centaur, and the Razor doing a lot of spread damage.
I mean, they're blowing up one every time, but that's about it. Then they lose the team fight.
Mid lane, they're going to pull in your Jakiro back into the stolen Ice Path, and back to the well he'll go. Still coil thrown out as 11 stampedes everybody run around, but nobody really go anywhere, is the call. Trying to chase on to maybe, but he's just one step ahead of Yasim here. In the meantime, in the middle lane, Mars C able to time-lapse a retreat, and they'll try to focus and isolate maybe here. He's lifted up, drop back down. Big kill could be brewing. He's low. He is not dead yet. Where's that detection? He's going to blink out to safety. Oh, my. Oi, oi, oi.
That's
terrifying.
He was completely surrounded there. No escape, and hey, he just melts, blinks out. Yasim will get the TP home BKB, but that's a costly BKB. 4-for-1 trade in the end. And once again, it's you blow up one with the center Ancient Apparition initiation, and then you have no follow-up. Like, the center AA opening from their draft, you can see its power and why they go for it, but the rest of the draft just hasn't come together. I think Razor's an okay pick, but having Razor and Weaver kind of filling a similar-ish role, they needed something else in there. They're missing that kind of key ingredient right now.
Yeah, they just seem to lack the burst damage as well. They've got a lot of good AoE control and damage, but nothing that just finishes off a single hero quickly before that puck can, you know, phase shift, blink out, your Brewmaster gets off a split, and with the BKB, well, there's not much to prevent it. So, just not really enough ability to blow key heroes up before the fight really gets underway. Whereas you look at CDec, they've got the Yule's Ice Path into Meld Strike. That's enough to kill, or at least bring almost any hero down below half HP.
And 3-3 is now going to Scythe of Ice, so yeah. Things get harder now. This is where Weaver's not having a Lincoln Sphere can start to hurt. If he gets Blink Hexed, well, suddenly you're dead.
Yeah, if the backup is there, mainly from the TA, then he's definitely going down. I like this pickup from CDec getting the gem. They do have the Necro 3, but you can't just go around the map spamming it everywhere. It's got a pretty long cooldown. This will give them some extra D-ward potential and map control, and just for CDec, I think it is somewhat about the starvation game. Not the easiest lineup to go high ground against. With that Centaur initiation, the Ice Blast constantly coming through, Weaver Swarm harass. But you can just look to starve IMG out, keep them in the dark, and by limiting the other heroes' farm, then just look to beat them late.
I think they may as well be waiting for this next Roshan, so no big rush. Brewmaster will have an Assault Cuirass. He actually did go for an Ag Scepter this game, which is not something you see as often anymore, but it's still a good item. I think it's almost being underbought in some ways. Like, sure, these like Vlad's BKB AC type builds are good, but I think Ags, if you can against the right heroes and in the right games, can be very powerful.
Not sure if this is the right game for it. The extra control of like the clap is kind of underwhelming, I would say.
Yeah, I think the Drunken Haze is quite nice, but
the big issue is you're up against that Crimson Guard, so your brew aspects just don't really do anything. That's where I feel like going for your... I mean, he could still go back for that build anyway. Like the Vlad's AC Abyssal Blade is just so damn strong. Especially when you've already got the BKB, then you just throw a refresher into the mix and you're just right-clicking fools.
Yep.
You only split if you really need to get away or try and dodge the remainder of the fight, I feel.
Alright, CDec grouping up. Is maybe potential smoke gank? No smokes available. Just walk on down, let's hit up the enemy jungle and see what we can find.
Well, meanwhile, CDec about to run into IMG here, perhaps.
Yeah.
They're giving the old loop-de-loo. They've got eyes now on your Centaur, but they'll find the Rubik first. Almost a one-shot. Yeah. Maybe so damn close.
If he got the crit on that first hit, you're looking at a one-shot.
Hunting for 11. Barely able to TP out.
Yeah. So, tier 2 bottom tower, back off, wait for Roshan maybe. And yeah, then you look at the high ground. The high ground siege is pretty ferocious with a Necro 3 and Liquid Fire.
Yeah, this TA also up to 5k gold, so maybe he can buy his next item. And you know, GoDz, he's just been the story of CDec. When he first started playing for LGD, they only left him on the roster for like a week or something really crazy like that. I think it was like a week or two, and then he was gone. He never really had a shot. He had been hyped up for his amazing performances in the CDec in-house league, funnily enough. And well, now he's here on the CDec squad and showing IMG that he's nothing to be trifled with.
He seems to fit quite well into that kind of leader-type role, and that's where maybe he didn't just fit into the LGD team, because they already kind of had that leadership, they had a structure there, and maybe just he couldn't... Maybe just couldn't just play into that kind of solo mid role without being the actual one leading the tempo of the game. He wants to try to make the calls, which is really working well for CDec here.
See ya, James. Go Scepter pop, but can't TP out because you'll cancel that, and so you're done.
Cold Feet's gonna latch, but that ain't gonna matter.
That's before Brewer even gets his damage items out. In the meantime, Marcy, gotta be careful. There's the Hex online. Coil as well. Can't afford to snap this one. BKB will time lapse. Now he snaps it. He turns on to maybe. He's actually gonna go aggressive on this TA. Almost to bring him down. Not quite.
Off in the back of this fight, your Sim's kind of BKB'd up and trying to do what he can, but I don't know if he's going to be able to outlast this one. Puck's now got an initiation with a blink. Oh, he missed the blink waiting rift. He kind of choked it from the trees there. Not going to matter anyways. I get the multicast on the Razor. With that, your Sim likely to go down, trying to bring down the Brewmaster, and does do so right before he dies. He gets the Primal Split Warrior. Well, actually, the Radiant got credited the kill, so I think the Creeps may be finishing off there. And CDec, they get an okay trade, losing Brewmaster, killing Razor, and well, I think they see Roshan and probably have their eyes on that, although the TA does need some healing juices.
Healing juices indeed. Well, maybe he's up to 6.5k gold. What do you think we're gonna see here?
He's salves apparently. Maybe
I guess the
65 salves.
I guess your MKB is the obvious choice. Up against that butterfly. They do have a Hex. They're going to jump in, though. They're going to catch out Mars. Can he get that time-lapse off in time? He can't. He's just chain stun. Blown up by 333 and Garter. Once again combining now. Hello, Rubik.
What you doing, IMG? Don't go in one by one like this.
Rubik. Be costly. Q also getting jumped on a bit, and they'll drop 3. The Brewmaster's still dead, but CDec confident to go into your Roshan pit. There is an Ice Blast online, though.
And that's where I think CDec is a bit worried.
333. Where you at? Oh,
phase shift
nice
dodge.
phase shift.
The Blaze. Necro 3 available, so maybe you tank Roshan with that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's out of mana here.
It's taking him a little hot minute here to do the rest.
Confused Roshan attempt I've seen in a while.
Alright, either go in or back off. I guess they're trying to bait here, but 11 is tanky. He's got his Crimson Guard. Oh, there's your multicast to start it off. Follow up from the Meld Strikes. Multiple Meld Strikes. Is maybe barely able to retreat. Plasma Field coming in, but they're going to bring Garter down low. Shiva's Guard now deployed. That'll slow down your Brewmaster. Oh, now BKB. Garter, deny me, Roche, he says. And Roche says, okay, I'll deny you, Garter.
Not often he cooperates, and this is the last man standing. Kind of a long drawn-out team fight here. Razor, well, he's got no BKB. Just the Primal Split to worry about for now. Puck kind of further up, has Hex in 5 seconds, and I think that's what he's waiting for. We'll throw an Orb on through. We'll actually join it as well. So Hex available, but got to be a bit careful because of that the Purge, the Unstable Current, which will slow you in your tracks and do a bit of damage.
No MKB. Just a more defensive item build for maybe in some ways. Picks up that butterfly. And, well, as for IMG, not EMG, there's not many... No hexes in sight for this team. They don't have any MKBs yet, so it's a nice little pickup.
Oh, Razor, what are you doing there? Yules, Ice Path to follow.
He does have his BKB.
That was cooldown, but even with it, probably dies. Yeah,
or at the very least, he's popped it, and now they just walk into the Roche pit instead.
Maybe he could BKB TP or something.
Brewmaster to tank this one up. His AC inbound, I believe, is, oh, the ingredients you need. Grandmother special here. Pump your brew up, and this will be a freebie Aegis Gods. This one I don't see CDec contesting at all.
And now with the AC online for CDec, that just means TA's doing more damage, you're taking less damage from the Weaver Razor.
Or sorry, I meant IMG contesting, not CDec.
And CDec are looking good. They've got all their core levels, they've got all their core items. Not much.
Just need to finagle their way onto the high ground here.
Yeah.
But they've got the Puck with a Hex to start it off, the follow-up from that Ogre. We've seen multiple times perhaps the most reliable initiation, that Yules and the Ice Patch, just so damn annoying. Jakira's
not with him here, but they seem quite pleased to just try and make a break on this high ground in the mid lane regardless. As Jakira going to race his way down. He actually picks up a Blink Dagger at the same time.
Here we go. Poking their heads up and moving on through that IMG base. Magneto, in their opening match of Starladder Season 10, are up against it a bit. They had a nice little beginning, but now the building's in jeopardy as the splash comes through. Your TA super aggressive in the front lines. The Bloodlust jumping onto the rear is going to be your Brew. Now he splits. They'll lose their Aegis to start. TA coming on back. Can they focus their second time?
I don't think so. The BKB gets popped. Going onto the Razor, who does not look tanky at all like he's supposed to. Oh dear. Just the one kill, but Raxes get taken. For an Aegis, this is kind of like unavoidable for IMG, but it's going to be a whole lot more. Weaver gets Blink Silence. Actually gets thrown up in the air, but a miscommunication there maybe from the Brewmaster Primal Split.
Oh, they're not done yet. The dings come out. See ya, Rubik. Brew jumping in to clean that one up. Now the Yules. They could go for your Centaur as well. Traps there. The multis are there. Oh my goodness, that Ogre Magi damage. That's with a pipe. That's with a pipe. He's still hitting hard. Another nuke, another kill, and a GG. Any minute now for IMG, it feels.
Yeah, it looks like it. They'll swing bottom. They can swing top. They can get all 3 lanes if they really want to right now. And well, it took them a bit of time, but they break through and get the job done as the cheese gets handed over to Maybe.
Yeah, celebratory cheese pass, but that's 2 lanes of Rax. CDec, definitely one of the favorite teams, especially with Newbie not participating in Starladder Season 11. You expect big things from these guys, Gods. And it's a good game. It's well played. That I would agree with. This one, unlike our first game, where Vici was kind of put it on their clown shoes, has been very back and forth. And overall, both teams are playing at a pretty high level here, I gotta say.
Yeah, I think IMG looked pretty solid. There was definitely a few moments where you could tell maybe a bit of inexperience. Not exactly sure whether they could take fights at Roshan or just these drawn-out fights where their lineup just didn't really shine. And also, I think the first 10 minutes they didn't maybe get enough done. But I think all in all, a pretty promising showing.
Well, there you have it. Our second match of day number 1. This is day number 1 overall of Starladder. Not just for China, but for all regions is now in the books.
Season 11 came out of nowhere. We're here. Got more Dota.
Yeah, what
never-ending Dota 2 action.
It really is. What do we have next? Do we know?
We have
CDec versus LGD.
Yeah, pretty big game. I think the odds are pretty much even for this one. So,
all right, who's the real LGD?
Yeah, CDec's caused a few upsets, so definitely a game to look out for.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have said they were favorites, but LGD has looked pretty good in their most recent matches. So I would say about 50-50.
All right. Well, you guys are watching Starladder Season 11. We're beyond the summit, and we're going to be providing all your good coverage. Stick around. We'll have more Dota 2 action coming your way.
All right, we're gonna get some caffeine, guys. We'll step it up for game.
esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds